You wake up already tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the deeper kind. The kind that sits in your chest before you even open your eyes. You don't check your phone because you want to. You check it because you're scared. Scared of a missed message, scared of a bank alert, scared of seeing a number that's too low to survive the week. And before the day even starts, your brain is already calculating. Rent, electricity, gas, food, school fees, medicine. Everything costs money, and you don't have enough of it. That's the hook, not motivation, not dreams, just pressure. This is the reality most people live in, but almost nobody explains honestly. You work, you get paid, and somehow every month the money disappears. Not on luxury, not on vacations, not on stupid choices. It disappears on survival, on being alive in a system that charges you just to exist. And after years of this, something changes inside you. You don't feel ambitious anymore. You don't feel lazy either. You feel numb. Because when you're living paycheck to paycheck, hope becomes expensive. It feels dangerous to believe things can get better, because disappointment hurts more than exhaustion. People love to say the problem is budgeting, or discipline, or mindset. But if that were true, millions of hardworking people wouldn't be stuck in the same place for decades. You don't see the problem because you're inside it, like a fish doesn't see water. This isn't about bad decisions. It's about how time, energy, and money are designed to drain you slowly, without ever killing you. Because a tired worker is more useful than a free one. Let's talk numbers, not theories. Imagine you earn the equivalent of $500 a month. Maybe more, maybe less. Rent takes $200, utilities take $70, transport takes $60, food takes $150 if you're careful. That's already more than your income. So you cut food quality, you skip doctor visits, you delay repairs, you borrow, you use credit, you ask family, you survive. Not live, survive. And the next month starts with debt from the previous one. That's not a mistake. That's the trap. The psychological damage of this life is invisible but permanent. When every decision is about money, your brain stays in emergency mode. You stop thinking long term, not because you're stupid, but because your nervous system doesn't allow it. Long-term thinking requires safety. When rent is due in 5 days, the future doesn't exist. Only the bill does. This is why advice about planning sounds insulting to people under pressure. Planning feels like a luxury activity for people who aren't scared of tomorrow. After a few years of this, something worse happens. You stop even trying to escape. Not consciously, quietly. You still say you want more money, a better life, less stress, but your actions shrink. You avoid learning new things because your brain is exhausted. You avoid risks because failure would be catastrophic. You avoid hope because hope has failed you before. This is not weakness. This is conditioning. The system depends on this conditioning. Low wages don't just save companies money. They steal your future time. When you're tired, you don't question. When you're busy, you don't organize. When you're stressed, you don't resist. You comply. You adapt. You normalize suffering. And slowly, the abnormal becomes normal. Working 2 jobs becomes normal. Not seeing your kids becomes normal. Living without savings becomes normal. This is how a broken system hides itself. It makes pain ordinary. You're told if you work hard, things improve, but what actually improves is your ability to tolerate pain. Your output increases, but your freedom doesn't. Your responsibilities grow faster than your income. Every small raise is already eaten by higher rent, higher prices, higher fees. Inflation isn't just an economic term, it's a quiet pay cut that never asks for permission. And because it happens slowly, you blame yourself instead of the structure. Here's the cruelest part. Even when people finally make a little more money, the pressure doesn't disappear. It shifts. Now there's lifestyle creep, family expectations, social pressure, debt repayment. The system ensures that relief is temporary, stability is delayed, security is always just one promotion away, 1 year away, one sacrifice away, and that year never comes. This is why so many people feel ashamed of their finances, even though they've done nothing wrong. Shame is useful. Shame keeps you quiet. It makes you think your struggle is personal, not shared. It stops collective anger. And while you're blaming yourself for not being better with money, the real extraction continues unnoticed. Look at how time is sold to you. 8, 10, 12 hours a day, plus commuting, plus recovery. By the time you're home, your brain is empty. Not because you're lazy, because mental energy is finite. And the system takes the best hours of your day, then tells you to build a future in what's left. That's like asking someone to run a marathon after a full work shift. Technically possible, practically cruel. And then there's debt. Debt isn't just financial, it's psychological. Owing money changes how you see yourself. It puts you in a permanent position of weakness. You're always catching up, never ahead. Debt forces obedience. You can't quit a bad job. You can't take risks. You can't slow down. Because interest doesn't care about your mental health. Bills don't pause for burnout. This is where most money advice lies to you. It talks about freedom as if it's a personal achievement, not a structural condition, as if everyone starts from the same place, as if time, health, and energy are evenly distributed. They aren't. Some people are born with safety nets, others are born with bills. By now, you might be thinking, so what? That question itself is the result of long-term pressure. It's not depression, it's realism shaped by exhaustion. When effort doesn't lead to progress, the brain learns to stop expecting progress. This is called learned helplessness, and it's one of the most profitable states a population can be in. But here's the uncomfortable truth that rarely gets said. The system doesn't need you to fail completely. It just needs you tired enough to keep going without asking why. And as long as you're focused on surviving this month, you won't notice what's being taken from the next 10 years. In the next part, we're going to slow this down even more. We're going to talk about how time itself becomes the enemy when you're poor, how exhaustion compounds, and why escaping this cycle feels almost impossible, even for smart, hard-working people. Not with motivation, with mechanics. Because once you see how the trap actually works, you'll understand why so many never get out, even when they do everything right.